So you've started streaming, but your next big goal is to start to grow your channel. And you've heard this elusive word of diversifying your content, but what content do I make? Where can I make it? And how do I start? So let's talk about it. Hello everybody, my name is Kitsu, a stream coach and content creator who's been in the industry for over 3 years. Today we're going to talk about the true power of diversifying your content on all of these other social media platforms. The term diversifying your content gets thrown around quite a lot in the streaming industry. Twitch in itself is a very difficult platform to grow on. When you click on a category, majority of the time you're going to be shown the top streamers only, those with the most amount of viewers, and it's going to go from high to low. So if you're streaming to the same 3 people, it can be really hard to get another person or even another 5 people into your channel without putting content out on other platforms. So today we're going to go over all of this information, help you grow on Twitch in 2024. So obviously to start this one off, let's go over a little bit of contents we're going to cover today. So we're going to start off with going over the difference between macro and micro content. We're then going to go over original and reused content. We're going to cover your consistency in posting, a little bit on how to find your particular niche, some of your ideas for videos that you can post on those platforms, and then of course our quick recap. So without further ado, let's get into it and discuss what is macro and what is micro content. So macro and micro content is kind of as it sounds. Macro is your main form of content. These are the things that you're putting more effort into. Things like your Twitch live streams, YouTube long-term videos like this video here, as well as things like podcasts if that is something that interests you. And then delving into your micro content, these are your smaller short form versions of content. Things like TikTok videos, Instagram Reels and Shorts, even Instagram photo content, Twitter posts, and even things like Reddit. So as I said, macro is the stuff that you're putting more effort into. So you're getting ready to go live and stream for, let's say, 3-4-ish hours. So you're putting in the effort to make sure that you have things to consistently talk about, going live, and really just broadcasting yourself while you are there. And then for things like YouTube videos, these are your sort of, I'd say between 5 to 20 minute or even longer or shorter long-term videos that are in this old format here that people can click and watch this content whenever they want to. This can also additionally be VODs from your Twitch channel. However, we'll discuss this a little bit later, but I do recommend creating original content for platforms like YouTube. And then the world of podcasts is slowly being brought up. So if making a podcast is something that interests you, then that is also something that you're going to be sitting down and devoting a long time to making. It's not going to be one of those things that's going to take you 15 minutes to record. Podcasts are normally around the hour-long mark. So you're going to have to sort of be crafting your ideas, what you're going to talk about, if you're going to have any guests on, how to cover all of this, even like possibly a script, which is stuff that you will be doing for your Twitch, YouTube, and then also that podcast. So these are your macro forms of content. For your micro platforms, these are the platforms that you're not going to be consistently putting a ton of effort into, but it's still there because it is still a way to grow, and you'll be surprised at the power of some of these platforms. So starting off, you've got Twitter, Reddit, and Instagram. These are your sort of post-like platforms. While Instagram does have Reels, it is a separate sort of video part of it, I feel, whereas Instagram originally was just your photo content. So your Twitter stuff, you can post all of your relatable content and everything when you're going live, etc. Instagram is all of your photos. If you want to post photos of your setup, photos of games, that sort of stuff. And additionally, Reddit is that sort of platform where you can really hone down into a niche that you want to, making and building a community of people who know your name every time you post. They're looking forward to your post, they're ready to read it, additionally they're ready to see the photos. Reddit is very hit or miss, and it is not a huge platform that I see a lot of content creators making content on, and that goes for podcasts as well. And then getting into your video form micro content, this is your TikTok videos, your Instagram Reels, and your YouTube Shorts. So your short form vertical style content is really popular at the moment, and it's only going to get more popular. With it, it has that addictive tendency to just sit there and scroll on videos for hours on end. And your video might pop up maybe once or twice, and they might like your content and then go and check out your Twitch platform from there. Definitely, if you can hone in on a couple of these microform contents, I would definitely recommend your video formed micro contents as your #1 thing to be doing to help grow your platform. So now that we've covered your sort of macro and micro content, let's get into something very similar to all of this, but your original versus reused forms of content. So your original content is things like majority of your macro content, but can also delve into a little bit of your micro stuff. This is things that you're making original content for, as it sounds. So for me, this video that you're watching here is an original content that I'm making. I have crafted the idea, I've made a script, I've got contents and stuff that I want to cover, and this is something that I have not made previously. And that goes for my Twitch. Every Twitch stream that I do is different. I've got different focuses on them, and I've got different forms of content that I'm going to cover in that I maybe haven't covered in a previous live. And then into your reuse content. This is stuff like clips from your live stream, additionally from a video like this that I might clip into a vertical scene, and I can post this pieces onto another social media platform like TikTok, Instagram, you know it. Majority of the reused content that you will see is people clipping stuff from their Twitch stream that are funny, relatable moments and posting them all over on different social medias to help grow and bring new members into their stream. And that is pretty much it for macro versus micro content, original versus reused content. It's pretty much just content you're making original information for and stuff that you're just reusing that information to post on other platforms. And while reuse may sound a little bit daunting, this is a true power that we have. TikTok clips and reused content from your live stream do really well because it shows people your personality, what games you play, and what they're expecting before they even click your live. For me, one of the biggest things that happens to me when I'm live is I'm a bit of a scream queen. I've got ADHD, so I'm very loud. And so I get scared at quite a lot of things that happen. And when I make compilations of my screaming and all of these funny things, people come in because they know that that's what they're going to expect. They're not going to expect a calm demeanor from me. Not a chance. And so this can be really helpful because people might not even want to watch you for the game, but they'll start to like your personality and really want to watch you for you. Never underestimate the power of reused content. So now that we've covered this basis, how much should I be posting? Where should I be posting? And how can I keep up a consistent schedule with this? So while in our previous video, which you can click over here, we spoke about stream schedules and sort of staying consistent in that, I would recommend making sure that you have a schedule for Twitch and also a consistent schedule where you can spend time editing and making this content. As I had said previously, for me, I stream 3 times a week on Twitch and I spend one full day where I film a video like this and I edit it sort of throughout the week. And I also film and stack and pre-do all of my TikTok videos for the week. This is something that works for me and make sure that I can keep consistently making content in all of these platforms to a schedule that works for me. Now, a huge disclaimer that I want to throw out there before we sort of get into consistency in posting is please do not commit yourself to more than you can do. This is something that I personally struggle with and a lot of newer creators struggle with because they want to be making this content on all platforms that they end up burning themselves out or posting way too much. While you're here for on TikTok, it's best to be posting 3 times a day. This isn't necessarily always the case. What I found works personally incredibly is making sure that you're posting consistently. So even if that's only once a week, make sure you're posting at the same time that week on the same day. You don't want to be posting 7 times in one week and then 3 times in one day and then not post for a week at all. This social media will really struggle to grow unless you are posting consistently on these platforms. So please make sure that you're finding a schedule that works for you. If you're working full time as well, finding something that works in between your work, in between your stream schedules, and then also gives you a bit of time to obviously do all of your other hobbies, spending time with family and friends and all of the things in between. This is a huge trial and error, as I said, so please do not feel bad if you were figuring out your schedule and you can't get it done right away. But make sure to try and figure out something. If you've got a whole free day where you don't really have to do anything else, then I would recommend devoting that to really just building up your content for the week, and that way you can relax for the rest of the week. So our next 2 things that we're going to cover kind of delve a little bit in together. So let's discuss it. So first of all, you started to make a schedule, you're ready to make all of this content, but what kind of content should I make? How do I find my niche target audience? And how do I come up with ideas for all of these platforms? So quickly, let's cover a little bit about finding your particular niche on these platforms. So when it comes down to a niche, this is the kind of content that you want to make. Well, back in the day, a lot of Let's Play videos from creators like Jacksepticeye, Markiplier, PewDiePie, and DanDTM were really great. Nowadays, there are hundreds upon thousands upon millions of creators trying to do the exact same thing. You have to really stand out for a particular reason, and so finding this niche form of content for you really works. Prior to really wanting to delve into stream coaching content on YouTube, I really honed in onto Stardew and Animal Crossing. From there, I really found out that Stardew Valley modding related content was my niche. People came for my videos, people constantly watched my videos and always knew where to go to find modding related content, things that covered the best mods and where to find them and download them on my channel. So this goes back to your Twitch schedule and what games you want to stream. Now these 2 don't have to co-work together, but it is really beneficial if they do. For instance, if you're making videos about, like I said, the cozy creations of Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley, and then you're streaming the scariest horror game ever on existence, people are going to find it really hard to connect with you. But if you're making this cozier content on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and everything like that, and then people click on your live and you're still making that cozy content, then they will find it easier to make the navigation from YouTube to Twitch and vice versa. But in that being said, if you've grown a large enough platform on a particular niche and you decide to delve out a little bit and go into a little bit more variety, then people are going to stick around for that. For instance, a really great example of making completely different content on one platform to Twitch is someone like Danny Phantom, whose TikTok has really blown up and is not really making particularly gaming style content, content, but more so skits. But because he's grown such a great and big platform over there, people want to watch him go live on Twitch, even if he's playing something completely different than the content he's making. So I recommend finding a niche for your YouTube sort of style content that is a little easy to translate over to Twitch. So this delves into what sort of videos and content can I make on all these platforms. So Twitch is your really fun one. Obviously you're live, you're making this live content. So honestly, play the games that make you the happiest. I do recommend trying to keep it into a niche, in the sense if you're playing horror games, keep it within horror games. If you're playing cozy games, keep within cozy. If you're playing all the new up and coming demos for games, for indie games particularly, then keep with that. But also try and keep that in mind when you're making your sort of YouTube styled content. For YouTube, as I said, Let's Plays are really difficult to grow with. So I would recommend honing in on particular sort of information based content. So this could be things about the games, how-tos, tutorials, what should I do? How do I get this particular item in the game? And all that sort of information. Because people will watch that information, they'll really like your content, they'll really start to like you, and then they'll want to go and watch you live. But continuing on, next is TikTok. I would recommend using this as a platform to share content from your live streams. As I said, Twitch is incredibly difficult to grow on, and if you're not sharing this content that you have made while you were live on other platforms, then people won't really know what to expect when you're live. Things like Twitter and Instagram, you can obviously post like your schedules and all that sort of stuff, but I would just keep it to something personalized for you. This could be different. This could be photos of gaming related content. All of your sponsorships can go on here. Additionally, if something has come out about your game and you want to complain about it, go ham on these profiles. There are a lot of great videos on how to grow on Twitter in particular, on YouTube, that I definitely recommend checking out. I could literally sit here and talk for hours and hours and hours on end about different kind of videos that you could be making for your platforms, but just remember these couple of golden rules. Make it relevant and make it something that people want to click. If you were there just playing a Let's Play of an old game that came out in 1999, there's a high chance that people aren't going to want to watch it. But if that's the game that you want to make content on and you hone in on that, what are the Easter eggs for the game? How do you get past that particular boss? Is there any laws behind the game? Do you have funny stories you can make about those particular characters? Really hone in on that different style content so that if you were to upload a Let's Play of that game, people want to watch it. You need to try and stand out in the crowd. It can be very difficult, but I believe that you guys can do it. And at the end of the day, just remember to have fun with it. Streaming and content creation is one of the coolest careers ever. It is a lot of fun. It can be super stressful, but still at the end of the day, one of the best and most rewarding careers ever. And even if that being said, one of the best and most rewarding hobbies ever. Now, before we get into a sort of quick recap of the video, my biggest recommendation is finding 2 platforms in your macro and micro content that you can consistently post to. Start with that before really branching out. For me, my top 2 macro forms of content is of course Twitch and YouTube. And then when it comes to my micro forms of content, my big one is TikTok and as well probably Twitter. While I'm not consistent on times that I post there, I do post on Twitter quite a lot. And that's a really great platform for me personally because I get to see my friends, what they're doing, and I also really get to connect with you guys. So start with that. You don't have to try and post content to every single platform at every single time of the day. Find your top 2 in each of your macro and your micro content of stuff that works for you. Work out a schedule around it, trial and error it, and just have fun with it all. So as I said, our quick recap for this video, we started off talking about your macro versus micro content. So remember, your macro content is your sort of longer form content, your Twitch streams, YouTube videos, and as well, if there's something you want to delve into, your podcasts. And then your micro content is that sort of short form content. So you've got things like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Reels, and YouTube Shorts, as well as a platform like Reddit. We then delved into your original versus reuse content, original formed content, stuff that you're making original content for. I feel like this should be a challenge of how many times I've said content in this video. And then lastly, of course, your reuse content. So you're taking clips from your live stream and you're posting them on other platforms to help grow. And remember, never underestimate the power of reuse content. That stuff is very, very helpful. Next, we spoke about your consistency in posting. So remember to find something that works for you. Don't overcommit yourself and try and make sure that you're posting in the same times. Like going live on Twitch, make sure that you're going at the same times that you would the previous week so that people know when to expect a video from you and know when you're going to be live. And then we spoke a little bit over how to find your particular niche, sort of the people that you want to make content for and making it within a particular niche. So if you want to stay with Pokemon themed content, I'd stick with that. If you want to just cover all of Nintendo, you're sort of only really delving into that and not really delving into something by Blizzard, for instance. And then a little brief recap for some of the video ideas for platforms. As I said, if you want to do something like Nintendo, how to find Easter eggs, some of the top 20 tips and tricks for that particular video game. You have to try and stand out within the crowd. It can be very difficult, but as I said, I believe in you guys and I know you can do it. That is it from me and for the true power of diversifying your content. As always, if you have any questions, please make sure to leave them in the comments below. And always, our little shameless plug, if you want to come and catch me over on Twitch Live, feel free to come and ask me questions over there. I'm live 3 days a week on every Monday, Thursday, and Friday at twitch.tv/Kitsuvu. And on that note, I will catch all of you guys next week. Bye, everybody.